Live from the podcast rooms in Glasgow, it's all about the Gers with Ricki, Neill, Derek Ferguson and Charlie Miller.
Hello and welcome to All About the Gers. Obviously it's not the Monday show because I was away on holiday, so we're back tonight, but it's not the show we probably want to be talking about tonight. But before we talk about football...
Before we talk, can you check we're live?
We are live.
Right,
we're
well
live.
Right.
Well done, Ricki.
We're live.
Kick on.
But before we go into that, I just want to say a big thank you to all our sponsors. We've got DB Dental Care, Park Construction and Plant Hire, Plugged In Business Solutions, Lounge 72 and SSAFA. And SSAFA is a Soldiers, Sailors and Airmen's Families Association. And you can find out about all of them on our website, which is allaboutthegers.co.uk. But before I come to you two guys, we've actually got a very, very special guest, one of my good friends, Scott Cunningham MBE. So welcome to the show, Scott. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Ricki. Thanks for the welcome. It's good to be here with you and the guys tonight. Thank you.
Good. Listen,
Thanks for coming, Scott. Yep.
We're going to come back.
Charlie.
We're going to come back and talk to about SSAFA later on, and also a wee bit about your life and all your achievements, and because this man's an MBE, so
He probably deserved us. How did Coisty get one? That's Scott.
My biggest achievement lately was I wasn't able to see that rubbish on Sunday. That was a great
Oh,
achievement.
don't know. Barry's got something. What's Barry got?
Aye, he's got an MB as well.
He's got an MBE as well.
has it? Eh?
Yeah.
They're doing him willy-nilly, aren't they?
Did you see Barry was getting it big time on that
and
Go Radio?
I know, and then he reacted to the boy. But then I can understand why he was getting a wee bit kind of feisty with the boy. It was brilliant when actually the boy who was hosting the show was just going to cut the guy off, and Barry's like, "No, keep him on." He was So I'm not even going to mention the name because what the guy says, because but he shouldn't have reacted to it. Sometimes you just go to laugh at that, laugh it off, move on.
Do you know? I can't believe how much he sounds like you, by the way. I was lying in a beach at the time and could hear Barry. I thought that's Derek.
There's kind of wee same wee
Mannerisms.
And there is that. You can tell that a mile away. And then you see that with the boys as well. Sometimes I see Dan, like Barry and that. So it's weird.
That's it. Charlie, how was your holiday anyway?
Absolutely magic.
Yeah.
Magic. So it's disappointed to come home.
Reality, Charlie, innit?
Reality, no,
You've
but
got
it
to
was
come home and work.
9 days, great. It was just, the weather was amazing. The only day it was overcast was we went into Villamura and watched the Rangers and Ross County game. So it was all right. I was in a pub anyway watching that. So
Aye, we got it wrong. We thought you were in the Costa del Sol. That's what you said, wasn't it?
Aye, I thought it was.
Albufeira.
Aye.
Lovely. Old time.
You usually go to Costa del Sol.
Nah, just near again. My mate's got a place in La Cala, so I'll go there. But no, Albufeira.
Always good to get a wee break, innit?
100%.
I know. I think I might be going there in December. Maybe.
We stayed in the Rockamore
To
Hotel,
go to the Real Betis game.
right in
Right, very good.
Go for that.
No.
Excellent.
I've started to tell Leachy and Jamie that I'm going with them right enough, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, listen, I'm afraid we need to talk about PSV as well, because obviously we've had the podcast since, but 5-1 defeat, Charlie. Did you have a wee bit of hope that we were going to beat them after the...
I did. I actually thought we were going to give them a game, and I was really, really disappointed. Honestly, we didn't start properly. Like I thought the first 1-2 minutes, like it's a Sunday, we started actually all right. We kind of kept the ball, and then we didn't get close to men. I'm not happy, and Matondo's playing, but I'm not. We need width. We've not any width, and it was. But see if we go to Eindhoven, I don't understand. You've seen how good they were in the first leg because they were quality. They've got some great players. Defensively, they weren't great, but I didn't understand why we didn't just go 5 solid right in the middle of the park and just snuff them out and get close to them. And we get them. It was widest open game in the world. It was so wide open. It was ridiculous.
We didn't learn lessons for the first game, because it was the same balls that they were playing, inside our fullbacks, certainly in Tab's side that caught us out. And once again, we're caught ball watching, boys on their heels. And at that level, there's only one thing that's going to happen. You're going to get punished. Strange to see players playing out of position. Cervantes as well, playing in a wide area. He just didn't look happy at all. And Charlie, and that's normally the right way to go about it, flood the midfield. But I think with Michael, he's wants to play this positive football, but until you get a wee bit of confidence in the players, then you can start to go and express yourself. But I thought we tried to go toe-to-toe with them, actually, football-wise. We weren't in that level. I think we could have went a wee bit longer at times. They were only playing with the one centre-half. The other boy shouting that was playing there, he's a midfielder. And he was at Bologna, Charlie. And do you want to know one thing he didn't like? He doesn't like the physicality. And I'm thinking with Dezers up against him, not all the time, but every now and again, just go long.
Every time we went long, we caused them trouble. Every time we put that ball attack, we caused them trouble. And we just wouldn't do it. And we had 3 or 4 opportunities to get Matondo away, Raskin a couple of times, terrible passes, honestly. But they were quality. That was the difference. They were so good. They were miles ahead of us, unfortunately.
At times, goals could have been prevented. The first one, and even the one that De Jong keeps pulling on to Tav at the back post, and then the free kick that kills us, we pull one back, they get a free kick, and you've got De Jong at the front post area, Tav's marking him, Lammers is marking him. By the way, that's not even a competition for Big De Jong. Why have we not got Suter? Why have we not got Golson on him? A bit of physicality, get up against him. It was baffling. Sometimes as well, you know, we shouldn't always be looking at the manager. During game time, you know, do it yourself as well. But see if I'm there and I'm looking at De Jong, going on to Tav, going on to Lammers, I'm like a Golson, I'm like a Suter. Oh, you, get yourself in there. You mark him, out-muscle him, put him off. Far too easy.
The first goal caught was Cifuentes. He's got to go with a man. Tav got caught in 2 minds because Tav didn't know if he was having to pass the man on, and then Cifuentes has just done nothing and just let his man run right behind Tav. And so they said to Tav, go with him or just follow his man. He has to go follow his man.
And that's the simple things, communication. Raskin lets his man go. Scott, what did you think of that game?
Well, I'm just listening to you guys, and one word comes to me. It was either you or Charlie who said confidence there. Confidence is something that's just been ripped right out of us within the space. Less than a week, actually. But I'm going to get back to an event we were at, and it was your Barry and Chris. We were doing it a lot down hall the week before. Barry, Chris, the full hall was confident. Everybody was so confident, you know. PSV bring on the Celtic as well. It was just one of those. Charlie, it was a good mood, a great mood with everybody. To me, the Blue Nose fraternity throughout the world, we were thriving. We said, look, we've got options here and options. But to me, whoever said it, who said confidence? Well, listen, I was going to ask you guys, because I've been thinking this all day, the last couple of days. See, when you were in a dressing room, what instilled the confidence? Because I'm thinking right now, there's no desire, there's no determination, there's no creativity, there's no like you guys, there's no Obama, there's no Goffey, there's no Barry.
I think sometimes, Scott, sometimes I think it's either something you've either got or you've not got, and it's a mentality thing. The way I think me and Charlie, I don't want to talk for Charlie here, the way we come fit, we're kind of Gallus, we Glasgow guys, so we're always kind of, you know, we always kind of carry that kind of confidence about us, and you know, playing at my time, you know, playing with top international players, I never felt inferior. I wanted to go and show that I could cut it with the guys. So that's something that I think that comes from within. You talk about Barry, it's something that's natural in Barry. Boydie, you know, they've got that. You've got to have that, and that's what we've got to have as Rangers players. It's not buying just the player; it's the whole package. And it looks as if at the minute we're a wee bit short.
It helps us that we're Glasgow boys, but also helped me and obviously yourself, Derek, that I was getting the ball and playing it to players like Laudrup and Gascoigne and Haitley and McCoy.
They were no bad.
So that helped, you know what I mean? And I was very lucky that way. Rangers just haven't got these types of players anymore, unfortunately. And oh God. I'm going back to my quantity rather than quality last year.
Do you think it's that again?
Oh, I think it's even worse this time.
Aye.
I'm never a big Kent fan, but I would take him back.
By God,
he's been
there's
been
a great
dropped
point
already.
because there we've let Sholak walk out the door, Sakala, and Morelos. I mean, Morelos has just joined Santos, and I know Morelos is a kind of a different thing we could talk about, but when you're replacing these boys, you've got to bring in better. And at the moment, we've got to say it doesn't look as if we've brought in better players, and that then comes down to the manager. And I think that's why the manager is getting a bit of stick at the minute.
Is it not too early, but 4 games? And is it just the manager as well? What about the scouting team that we've got? You know, because we've had the same scouting team for a couple of seasons.
They were desperate to get Danilo. It was the whole summer to get Danilo, and then he's no starting. He was the priority, it looked like, with how long we were after him. And it's so disappointing seeing him sitting on the bench. But obviously, he can't be better than Montondo if he's not playing. Or else he needs to get fit. Or I think Dessers is all right. I really do think Dessers is no bad. I think Dessers will come good for us. I thought Lammers, maybe, obviously his chance of Sunday, he's got to take that. But I think Dessers is decent, by the way.
I think he'll come good.
Are you were going to say something there, Scott?
I was. So we last. Okay, we're off of the same neck of the woods, you know what I mean? And we know what Rangers is all about. We're blue through and through. The players that I'm talking about, Bombers, Barry's, Big Haley came and he's one of us, of course. The Coisty, everybody. The Rangers through and through. But last Monday, we came my dad round the tour and then into the museum. I would have thought that'd be a prerequisite, Charlie, you know what I mean? You're a Rangers player, Dessers, MD that comes in, Lambert, whoever, you come in here, you get shown the thing, you get shown the trophy, you show the statements for Bill Struth, all the rest, into that museum, get it rammed into you. But the tour guide should be Bomber.
See, do you know something? See what you've just said there? We actually and I know he's done that, see with the players coming to the club. I remember that was part of your our remit, me and Gerranti, as soon as they come in, walked into that dressing room, we let them know what Rangers was all about, what it meant to people, and then the guys just bought into it, and then we tried to get them at that time out to the Player of the Year dances, which doesn't happen anymore, which is an absolute, it's poor when you think about it. It's as if, you know, that they've outgrown that. And that, do you know something? That's a great thing to go in where
Rangers Supporters Club, but that's just...
I know there's a whole host of things you can go to, but and that would just give them the feel of what it's all about. You know, it's not just about running onto the park, playing in front of, you know, your crowd and and all that comes with. You should go to these clubs, you know, and with the real supporters and being amongst them, and then because these guys live and breathe, and you know they die for the club basically. You know, and we used to feel that as young Glasgow guys, and that's what we tried to transpire onto the boys as well, you know, and say this is what it means to these guys, and they got it.
You know, I'm just going to, obviously this is an audio podcast as well, and a lot of people might not know Scott Cunningham, but he's actually, you lost your vision about 30 years ago.
It's 30 years in October, just a few weeks, and that's my 30th anniversary I'm celebrating. Okay.
So how do you go about, what's your kind of match day experience then?
Well, like anybody else, excuse me, anybody else in here, you know, you've got the pre-match tension, the PMT kicks in a day or two or four, the battlefield raging, you know what I mean? And there's many years, you know, you'd been up early, but what I do now is if I don't get a run with my mate out a long walk with the wee man here, Lincoln's down there at our feet, and then I'll get settled on the way it was on Sunday. It can be a pretty draining process because my dad's on he's at the right to me, tell me his interpretation of the game. I've got Sky, which was absolutely diabolical, by the way, on Sunday. There was more of them than us. It really was. It was, oh man. They must, so I've got they must open your ears, Lennon, sort and all the rest of it. I've got in my other ear, I've got my I was going to say tranny, no, you can't say that, but I've still got a tranny. It's a transistor radio for anybody that's political correct, but as it's, we call it a tranny, let's go. Or the wireless, we call it the wireless. So I've got that in my left ear. So I need to put this equation together. So my ears were getting assaulted with Radio Scotland. They're really no bias there either, by the way. Oh man! By the way, when you're blind, you pay a half-price TV license. It's another wee bonus of being blind. You don't, see the money I save in light bulbs as well. It's brilliant. It's great. But the biggest bonus is I never seen that on Sunday. I was lucky. I didn't see that. But my ears were getting assaulted with Liam McLeod and all that in Radio Scott. So I have to make this equation, right? I'm sitting there drained because I'm listening. I've also got a Twitter feed. My phone has got voiceover. My phone. So any of the Rangers.
You must have something like it, Bill, by the way.
You want to know I don't drink much now? So it's one of them, and you're putting all this together, and you're at 10 bob, and then you're putting this equation together and try to put exactly what's happening on on the pitch, Ricki, but I was as gutted and heartbroken. It's like a bereavement process, isn't it, for a day or two? And it is, it's just, as my dad would say in Larko, you get a lumb hat on, and you're just going about, no. And it was even worse for me, as I just dealt with just 10 minutes ago. I went out there and I just said, I'm going to lie out in the back door there with out in the lounger, and I got woke up with a wasp thing in the arm. Political correct Larko style. It's just the language I be a bit colourful, but it was just it was totally unexpected. It's staying the one right out is all. Cause it just says to the guys, Barry, Chris on the stage last week. They were confident. They were instilling us. We were confident. See, this season, it's just been. We said, here we go, rock and roll. We're going to get the 56 tattoos now. That's what we're on the verge of.
Well, see what you're talking about on Sunday, though. My problem was, my worry is that they've got so many players out and they're only going to get better, and we can't beat that.
Yes.
That was probably the worst. It was probably the worst Old Firm game I've ever seen. See, for quality, there was not a bit of quality in the game. They were getting the ball back to each other, back and forward. We started brilliant for 3 minutes. 3 minutes, we started really good, and then McGregor just takes control of the game and controls the game. And then we should have Cantwell's just got to be on him. Cantwell's got to play off, what do you call it? Off McGregor, and you play two up. You play Roof and Dessers up front, and put Lundstrom had to be in the team. I think Lundstrom had to be in the team for me. But I dig. Nobody get booked to 72 bloody minutes in the game.
No. Actually, can I ask Charlie a wee question then? Because it's like, right, we saw that McGregor was starting, he got on the ball, take control. Sometimes even for the side of the park, the manager, the coaches, they might not sense that, they might not see that. But as a player, you will. Now, what we used to do was sometimes we wouldn't wait for it to come for the manager or the coaches. We would sort it out ourselves, and we would maybe go and say, like, right, I'm going to sit in him, where whoever it was, even I'm going in the pass, I'll use like McStay. McStay was a top player. So you would go, right, I'm going to go on him for 10, 15 minutes. No, let him dictate plays. Just sit on him for a bit. But that was done in amongst us. No, that didn't come for the manager. Didn't come for the coaches. So sometimes, you've got to do it yourself. Take responsibility. And they don't take enough responsibility at times, in my opinion.
Do you know, listen, we'll come back to the Old Firm because we still want to talk about Champions League, because obviously we're out of the Champions League now, into Europa League. No, I think personally Europa League's probably our level just now. I know it's not what most Rangers fans want to do, but I mean, the group, I think it's quite an achievable group.
It's a very difficult group.
Yeah.
I agree with him. Apart from Limassol, apart from the Cypriots, I think they're two difficult games.
Yeah.
I think it's a difficult group. I really do.
So Real Betis are sitting 7th in the league after 4 games. Limassol top of the Cypriot First Division with 3 wins. And Sparta Prague, they're top of the Czech.
Oh, a couple of years ago we were a better team, and we just beat Sparta Prague a couple of legs, didn't we? In the Europa League run. I'm sure we did. Was it Europa League? And they're top of the Czech League now, and we're not as good as we were 2 years ago.
Aye. You see, 2 years ago, Charlie, and all these teams at the minute, they've got consistency. We've had known one team for the same game all season. That's my issue. You know what I mean? Does he know, or is he no confident in his players? Does he think he can rely on them?
It doesn't look as if he's confident with signings because they're not starting.
No.
I think, as a coach, we all know he's a real top coach, but he's a manager now, and I think his mind's became kind of clouded a wee bit. I don't think he's thinking clearly. He's brought all these players in. Clearly, he doesn't know what you're saying, Scott, what his best side. It's been a real mixed bag. The galling thing for me is I can't remember, we're 9 games in, I can't remember us having a game that we've dictated from start to finish and played really well. Apart from I would go the Ross County.
I didn't even think we had, because
I thought they were good in the first half.
They were decent. They were.
And in the second half, they had to show a different side. But that's what I'm saying, Charlie. It's like at Rangers, the players that were brought in, who we are, the money was spent, we should be dictating games. We should be bossing these games, but we're not, and that's a real worry, and that dents of confidence.
And Roof is still our best attacker. It's bewildering. He's still our best attacker. And plus, I still Neill. I'm just surprised. I don't understand Neill. I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know what's happening there. But I think it's a very difficult group. I think Sparta Prague and Betis are decent. Limassol, we should be able to take care of the Cypriot teams, surely. But I'm worried about Betis.
There's quite a few people in the group chat agreeing with you, Charlie. They don't reckon they'll get out of that group.
Struggle.
I think it's a tough. You take just what I'm saying. Take the separates out of that. They're tough games. So they're, and just at the level that we're playing at the moment, that's how I'm not as confident. No. I mean, I said to you last week about getting into the Eindhoven game. I just wanted to be really competitive, but I didn't want to get a doing, which we got. But I still thought if we come off a good performance, a good level of performance, take that into the Old Firm game, we win that at home with the crowd behind us. But what transpired, has been.
I think the worry is that we're worse than last season.
Mm-hmm.
Aye.
Much worse, I think. But for what I've seen so far, I've not seen anybody. Butland's good goalie, by the way, good goalie. I think Stelling will be decent if he gets a chance. He did all right in Sunday out of position. It was difficult for him. If Yilmaz is fit, he should have put him on. I know he's just back for injury, but we needed somebody whipping the ball. See if Kolak's there as well. Kolak's scoring a few. They got see the crosses into the box. Yilmaz whipping them when he came on. That was just
that's the other thing, and I know the listeners will be like, oh, God, they're having a right good morning. I think quite rightly so, but we've not addressed the problems.
Lucky we never come on Monday.
We've not addressed the problems that we've had at the back. In the middle of the park, our best player, we've got to find a position for him and get players round about him. Cantwell, I'm talking about. He's your best player. So we've got to kind of work round about him. And then up top, and the manager used the words, we're not ruthful enough. And what was other? We're not inventive enough in that final third. He brought the players in to have that ruthfulness, that inventiveness. And it's missing. It's clearly missing. So it is. He wanted to play that narrow three up top. It's not working. Scott said it. 9 different teams have started. So he's got to, during this international break, find or sit down and think, right, that's my strongest 11, and go with them, and try and get into a bit of rhythm, get a bit of confidence to take us forward. Because at the moment, I think the players are starting, you can see it, it's clear to see, the players are starting to lose a bit of confidence.
Definitely there, 100%.
Guys, can I ask you, you guys have played with some amazing captains and some brilliant defenders. Is your captain the right captain? Is he done?
Well, I like Tav. I'm not going to say defensively, obviously we know he's not the best defender, but he does too well defensively, and he's up and down that line. And I know a lot of people have a go at him, but I would rather have him than the guys we've had in the past few years who have came in, like John Flanagan. When people like Tav, Tav's not playing. Me miss Tav desperately. We do, because he's more width, and we've not got any width at all. He scores goals, okay, but it costs us goals sometimes. But I don't blame him for the Wednesday night first goal, because I think Cifuentes has to go with his man. That's no Tav. And then I like Tav the other day as a captain.
No, in my opinion, he's not.
I think he's.
And the reason I say that, Scott, is because I watch him and agree with what Charlie says. Going forward, you can't criticise him defensively, yep, but it's his body language at times, and I look at that and I don't think he's captain material. And then because you're going by the players of the past, and I'm talking about the guys I played under, I'm talking about the Butchers, the Goffs, your time, Barry, they led. The example, they go after people. I don't really kind of see that. So, but that's taking nothing away from what he's done, stats, the goals. Some of the goals are amazing, but I don't think he's captain material for us. It's just my opinion.
I don't think there's anybody else in the team that we can get to.
I'd get to Golson.
Golson's.
I know he's made a couple of mistakes, but I would rather.
Golson looks as if he's been out for a year. He looks.
Here's Andrew Cleland saying the problems we have. There's no real captain or vice captain leading the players, and there are no real tactics that I can see, and too many players are played out of position.
Well, that's it, and that's what I'm saying. I said earlier about the manager. His mind, his judgment, it became a wee bit kind of cloudy. He's not quite sure. The players will feed into that because he's changed it up so many times. Formation, playing players that are not comfortable in certain areas. That starts to feed into them, and they start to within. They might not do it out vocally, but see within, you start to question the manager.
you know, there's loads and loads
Because
of
it's natural, Ricky. It's a natural thing that you do.
there's loads of comments coming in, and we will try and cover a lot of them. But I just want to bring up something I seen just before we come on air was Dynamo Zagreb are interested in buying Borna Barisic, and they might actually want him within the next couple of days, or they can get him, I think, for a free.
In January.
January.
Well, he annoyed me against PSV. See that coming off again, man. He's soft as shit.
Do you think he just bottled it? Or?
Because he was supposed to be fit for Sunday. Fucking it. Excuse me.
No.
Honestly, you seen him coming after, like, you seen him doing injured, and you seen that he was bottling it again, and
He's right.
don't want to play it.
Charlie's
And I'm
right.
going,
He took
God
the-
almighty, easy.
He took the easy way out. His teammates are under pressure, are getting a bit of a doing, and he took the easy option. And that's there you go. I've never spoke to him.
Well,
before he
the
came in
Croatian
tonight.
manager said he's fit
Yeah,
for their selection.
Yeah.
You know.
because they're playing a soft team.
You know, so anyway, listen, before we talk more football, I want to talk to Scott a little bit more about one of our.
I know you brought him in.
I know I brought him in. But you know what Scott's like? Scott just wants to talk football, you know. But we want to find out more about SSAFA because obviously he's one of our partners this season, you know, and it's an amazing charity. And how long you've been with SSAFA for now? Is that just over a year? Or is that two?
It'll be 2 years in February.
Yeah.
Ricky, aye. Just think.
Well, here's your platform. You can tell us all about SSAFA then.
Yeah, well, see, SSAFA is the oldest forces charity, military charity in Britain. 138 years ago, 1885, it was formed. Tri-services, so every military service we've got here in Great Britain. Now, the service we can deliver our support to is MD, even if you're serving the reserves. So other charities, there is limitations, but we us, SSAFA, by the way, well done for SSAFA, because some people read it out like SSPCA, SSAFA. We're trying to get it more known as SSAFA.
I just remembered the Jaffa cakes.
Brilliant, love it.
Shock you talk about Jaffa cake, yeah?
I'll tell you, before I came to SSAFA, I didn't know a lot about the charity. It's more widely well known in the military family or the community, Ricky, you know what I mean? But since joining SSAFA, and it is a privilege to be within the team, I'll tell you that in a wee minute. But since then, you know, I'm for that college, you know, and there is so many, we call them beneficiaries, not clients, or as beneficiaries in the local area, a couple in particular, in the local Lanarkshire area, which is, you know, although it's confidential, we just get told, anonymised, which is great. You know what I mean? Absolutely brilliant. But I can tell you just exactly, you know, who we support and why we support them. So just a brief synopsis, really. As I say, we've been going all those years. In Scotland, over 6,000 phone calls were taken last year. That's 6,000 cases of care. Do you know what I mean? And that phone call could have been... not just changing a life, saving a life. Honestly,
Mental health, everything.
loads of mental addictions, you name it. We support any. We call it the military family, because it's not just the incredibly brave person who served their country and gave us the freedom and democracy we've got each day that we should value so much. They have put their life in the line. Ricki, they've given so much, but their whole family can access support as well. You know,
all the money that's raised in Scotland stays in Scotland as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is amazing.
Absolutely. We've got a couple of fundraisers coming up. I can speak to you about in a wee while. Our brilliant quizmaster comes to our quizzes, by the way.
It's good, this guy.
He's absolutely top notch.
He's got the biggest napalm in Europe.
That's one of the quiz questions.
Scott makes about it affects the whole family
It does.
as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just
So that's right. You know, it can be post-traumatic, it can be addiction, it can be homelessness. It can cause you know, marriage breakups, because the transition from service to civic street, as they call it, is massive. None of us, well, I don't think any of us have served, you know, but I feel now as if I'm serving. I'm serving the guys and lassies who've given us so much for our country. You know, it is a hard ask to go out there and get money, get as much as we need. But it's a task that I really, really enjoy. I savour it. I really do. Coming on to meet you guys as well. It's brilliant. We know where our support base is. We know where to target that. But it really is. It's crucial. It really is crucial, Ricki. You know, over a period there, I have been in place. You know, we're building up our team. We've got Dave as the manager. We've got Michelle, who does the trust and grants, incredible person who does so much for us. We're just recruiting, and we will have a new member of the team in place who's going to be doing the corporate and the kind of special events. Me, I talk to who I call the salt of the earth, going out and meeting the people on the streets kind of thing, organising more localised events such as the Brilliant Quiz nights and Saturday Sings. Next one's Thursday the 19th of October. And we have still got some limited availability left. Anybody wanting a place, we'd love to hear from you. I'm sure you've got all the contact details there, Ricki.
I will put them on the show after as well. But see the quiz night is brilliant, and see some of the raffle prizes, by the way. What the likes got, they're top notch, aren't they?
That was some incredible ones. I mean,
Rangers
for instance,
Tours, Everton, Rangers Hospitality,
Tour.
St Mirren Hospitality. Remember that?
Mirren, aye. And last time, a brilliant, one of our amazing supporters, the Bell Group, does all the decorating and that. Lovely Kirsty there brought along, if you remember, Ricki. It was to have one of the rooms in the house totally redesigned and decorated and all the rest of it. No, it's
a makeover.
A makeover. Well, some of them that you get in the telly, you know what I mean? One of these things. And here we had it. And the incredible Mr. Singh, of course, the best curry in Europe, if not the world. You know what I mean? Best curry you can get. But it helps us enormously as well. So we have got some amazing supporters. So we've got that coming up. We have also got the Kilt Walk, which is a weekend Sunday, but we can still, I can give you a free place. Anybody wishing to take part, all we ask in return is if you want to take part in one of the three, there's a wee wander, 4 miles, big strokes 14, 22 is the mighty stride, finished at Murrayfield Stadium, and the pint after it's the best pint you've ever had in your life.
I wasn't sure if you were just teasing us there. Is there really a bar at the end?
Absolutely, it's a brilliant bar. It's a brilliant bar, believe me. It's and the Red Hot Chili Pipers are playing, all the rest of it. Rangers are playing on the Saturday, so there's no excuse for any of the Bears not to come because they say they're going to the game. A lot of the Bears are coming. We have got a bus going for Larkhall. So if MD's in the surrounding area,
sounds good.
There are a couple of seats left, a few seats left. Can get you on that. We'll get you there.
So can you just drop me off at the 4 mile mark then? Aye.
Drop you off at the 4 mile mark. You can go to the barn. Just
where's the bus leaving for Scott and Larkhall? Whereabouts?
Various pick-up points, Derek. There'll be a couple of different pick-up points, but certainly we'll get some good uptake. So if you're up for it, we can get you along.
I've seen amazing work,
family.
Amazing work, Scotty boy.
But you can find out more.
It's brilliant. The reason I find it so much a privilege, it's not just because everyone is here. I've got family that's been in the military, Bird Krampus, whatever. You know, my papa there, he was in the Second World War. I've still got his Bible in the house. I'm really, really proud of that. But I'm also very proud of every single person who served their country, guys. They've given so much. And as you said there, Derek, the full family's impacted. But every single day they're away for their family. They don't know if they're going to a phone call. They don't know if they're going to come back injured. They don't come back at all, Charlie.
Yep.
But my personal endeavours over the years as well, Ricki, I've been so lucky and been able to achieve my dreams as a blind person. All the different endeavours I've been so privileged to do with the Royal Marines who've came. You've met a few of them over a period. They've helped me, whether it be marathon running or Ben Nevis, the West Highland Way, all these things. And that just showed you how professional our military are. They're the elite ones. But every single one of them, who the lads and the lassies, they are as brave as you're ever going to get. And what every penny is going to stay here in Scotland, and it's going to deliver I say it's not life changing. A lot of the time it's life saving, and it can be. So just say for instance, the dial the forces line, the 0800 number. A caseworker will get to the door and have a wee look about what's needed. Is it a hole in the carpet? Is it a hole in the roof? They need some white goods. Are they really needing maybe some food vouchers? Yeah, maybe it's really financial difficulty. You've said their mental health. It could be addiction. It could be all sorts of things. The caseworker, very, very highly trained. They'll go in and they'll talk to them, and that's when the process starts. And the feedback I get personally, it's unbelievable.
Definitely. I mean, we are proud to be part of it as well. But I think also a lot of people think SSAFA is just for veterans only, but it's not. It's for everybody, you know. But
if you've served one day, to one day, and it can be
family, everything.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
but over the season, what we're going to do is we're going to get people in that have actually had help with SAFA, and you'll meet some like inspirational people, and hopefully we'll get them in. But unfortunately, right now we're going to need to talk about Old Firm.
No.
No, is that it?
No, you're talking about inspirational. That's inspirational.
It's very inspirational. I know.
Amazing.
And the thing is, Scott doesn't even like. I don't know how many times I've met you and say, "Wow, I can't believe you do marathons and things like that," and you just take it for
Phenomenal.
It's
I'm
amazing.
just lucky I've had the support over a period, Ricky. It's 30 years in October, and it's been a brilliant adventure. I've obviously I missed the majority 9 in a row, but I've missed a lot of defeats as well, which has been brilliant. I've not seen them. And as I said, see for the amount in the bank that I've saved in light bulbs, it'd be an absolute fortune. You could get back to Albufeira, Charlie.
Magic.
Right, so Old Firm. I'm afraid we need to talk about it. It's going to be an amazing start. The Union Bears with that display was exceptional. First couple of minutes with Tondo scoring a goal.
Looked brilliant.
Looked amazing, didn't it? Charlie, what's your thoughts on it?
It was flat. It just didn't nobody beating anybody, just passing back to the goalie, punting it up front. And actually, when we did punt it up front, that's when we actually created it. We actually got a couple of chances. Obviously, Dessers was just offside for the early goal.
Aye.
But it was just so flat after the first couple of minutes of the game, and Celtic just taking control of the game. And they are bloody average as well, but they're going to get stronger because they've got a lot of players out.
Do you know
Carter Vickers coming back and things like that.
Well, I mean, I've heard over the past few days, obviously I was in Spain watching it, but the amount of people that I spoke to saying that it's probably the worst Celtic team that we've been beaten against in years, Derek.
I mean, that's how we fancied ourselves strongly at home. All the supporters behind us. You expect us to come out the traps, get after them, and after the initial couple of minutes, it started to fizzle out. They started to take control of the game, which shouldn't happen. You look at their press, it was far better than ours. Then that's when you start to look at, is that coming for the management, or is it the players not working hard enough? So you can look at that, but then you've got to take responsibility and see how the game is going. I spoke about it earlier in terms of McGregor starting to go on the ball. Take responsibility yourself. Don't wait for it coming for the side. You've got good, experienced players playing in there. Certainly, you've got Jack, international player, Cantwell, Raskin. Sort it out between yourselves. No, we didn't do that. The goal as well. The goal's a mistake as well again. But what the manager said after the game about being ruthful, and inventive, they look better than us. That's that. It's at the end of the day, and it's hard to say, isn't it? Their front three are better than our front three, and and it kills you to say that. So it does, Ricky. But that's the facts are there. Now you look at their back line, 2 centre backs, Scales and can't pronounce the other guy's name. Lagerbield or whatever it is. Lagerbield or whatever. But come on, you got to put them under more pressure, and let them. But we allowed them to get comfortable in the game.
But to be fair, I know they controlled the game. I thought they controlled the game in the first half especially. But the goal's a goal. It's never a free kick in its bloody life. With Dessers, it's never a...
No.
And then that's a big moment in the game. We go 1-0 up. Goldson headers the ball into their half instead of heading it to one of their players, and we're getting 1-0 at half time. It was a terrible decision. Yeah. It was a goal.
It's not a foul, but then they've got together, these referees, and come up with this. Honestly. That's a letter of the law that when you're in the kicking action, if you put your foot in front of him and they make contact, it's a foul.
But it's the same thing, Derek, when you put your body in front of the guy and he kicks you.
Basically, it's like the handball rule as well. It's a silly rule, stupid. I don't know how they sit and come up with this crap.
But they're refereeing the game now.
Aye.
It's not a clear and obvious mistake.
Aye.
No. So it shouldn't even went to VR then.
No,
and it's like, but listen, that could have been paper in all the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
So as
do you know one thing?
But I know goals change games. But
it might have given them a confidence that you were talking about.
Get that crowd behind you.
Aye.
I mean,
and we might have went. I think we'd have probably only won 3 or 4-0. By the way.
Oh, I know. That's what I was thinking. As soon as, even after the first one, they got chopped off. Obviously, it was well offside, but they scored that second goal. I think we are 3-4-0 up.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what annoys me? But Kyogo, Why did you get so much space and time in the ball and nobody goes right through him? You know, a good hard challenge like you're talking about, Scott,
Can't
about
do it in
Bomber and
this
things
day and
like
age,
that.
Ricky. You're not allowed to do it.
Let
That's-
him know you're there.
For his goal or just in general?
Just in general, like the first 5-10 minutes, I can remember watching an interview with Kevin Thompson, and he kept on saying that Walter Smith used to say to him, if you don't get a yellow card in the first 10 minutes of an Old Firm game, then you're coming off.
But regarding the goal for Kyogo, I think he thinks he's offside and just hits it. It's a
Good.
great hit, by the way.
Because he hits it relaxed.
Aye.
I know what
think
you're
he actually
saying.
thinks he's just.
Aye, and he
I think
just
he thinks he's offside and goes
and
and just
and
hits
that's how
it.
he's hit it so well, because he's
It's a
pretty
great hit
relaxed.
because he's like, can they pressure? Because usually you go and take a touch and go in with that. He's hit it as if he's offside, I'm sure.
But we'll no get a better chance than that, you know, at home, full crowd behind us, against a weakened Celtic side. We should be winning that game, you know. And I'm not saying I can't, you know, work your backside off, go full throttle. And I didn't think we did go full throttle. We're actually talking about the press. I think at times it was half-hearted. You can't be half-hearted. You know, it's an Old Firm game. You've got that crowd, and if you want to get that crowd going, you go to it, hammer and tongs, 100 mile an hour, and they'll back you. They'll get behind you, and they never.
I just don't understand how any Rangers player can be up for it on a day like that when you go out and see that amazing.
100%.
Well,
You know,
when
and
did what have you just been talking about earlier? You've been talking about leaders, you know, captains. You know, that comes from within. That's as well as a manager bringing in good players that we were led to believe, but also bringing guys in that have got character. When you need to dig people out, then you've got that. We'll go back to them. We'll go to the guys I played with, the Butchers, the Goffs, the Barrys in his era. They dig people out, even if they're not having the best of games, and they get other people playing well. We're too nice as a group, and they're nice technical players, but nice doesn't win you anything. So I tell you what, there's a lot of soul searching. And they've got to, as a group themselves, doesn't always need to come from the manager. The main leaders in that dressing room, who would you think, right? So you're talking about Tav. I'm thinking Golson is certainly one of them. Butland as well. So these guys have got to get into these guys, dig them out in the dressing room.
You've got to think Raskin and Campbell now, but also I'm going to say about Beale, right? Beale said he wants to see the character before he signs him. He meets them personally.
Look him in the eye,
He
remember
looks
that?
him in the eye and he says that I want to see these guys. I want to see how, if they want to play for Rangers. I want to see what kind of people they are. He's obviously not seen some of these guys, no met them face to face, but all things.
Listen, I hate to do it after only 4 games, but everybody in the group chat's asking their thoughts on Beale, and I'm just going to kind of tell you the stats of Gio. Gio lasted just a year. He got us to the European final, won the Scottish Cup, and he got us through to the Champions League for the first time in 12 years. Michael Beale's nearly at the year. I done a wee poll on Twitter last night just to see what people were thinking. So it was Michael Beale's future. 89% said it's time to go already, and 11% said they're happy with the manager.
I don't think it's time to go. I think if he wins the cup, he could get confident. If he gets put of the cup, then he's away. Simple as that.
He used to win the League Cup. He used to win every game up to, and the League Cup, to stay in a job. But the thing that got us excited is because when he came into the job and he took over for Gio's side, we played well. We were playing some good stuff. Maybe done it in a couple of the bigger games. So that's when we thought, right, he's going to be bringing his own players in that Charlie's just talking about. That's what got us excited. And it's just no. Listen, see what you were saying earlier as well. He's recruited the guys. He's responsible for the guys. It's no that we were blaming somebody last season. You know, and it can be easy. It was his responsibility. He's brought the players in, and that's why he's getting it.
But
in the neck of it.
See, last season, Derek, the last season when we played Celtic were a better team than they were now, right? And we were a much better team. But we should have beat Celtic a couple of times last year. A few terrible mistakes cost us, and we missed some great chances against them. And the two, especially the semi-final and the final, I thought we were actually in the game, we were close, we were as good as them, and I just think it's backwards.
And it's also the level of performance. Since the start of the season, the level of performance has been pretty poor on the whole, and that's a disappointing thing. It'd be different if we were absolutely hammering teams, but you know, missing chances and you know, refereeing decisions. But it's been a real mixed bag. It's not been great, and I think that's why we were so much looking forward to Sunday, going up against them, because of the advantages that we had the home crowd, them as a weakened side, they were vulnerable, by the way. That is the thing. They were vulnerable, and we didn't take advantage of that, and we didn't get after them.
And then they scored in the last 2 or 3 games or something.
Right.
And then their fans were actually thinking, they were kind of talking about getting rid of Rodgers.
So that's where the disappointment comes. That's how we're absolutely stunned, devastated, by the way, innit?
Yep,
and we're on Wednesday now, and we're still doing innit? And it's.
I mean, I watched that VAR decision again today, and that just annoys me every time I watch it. No, it seems to get worse every time you watch it.
You're refereeing for the stand. Oh man.
Charlie, Derek, see it back when you guys played. See, even the Scott Cup, the League Cup, whatever they called it then, that was your cup.
Mm-hmm.
It was more or less we had it every season. And now to me, we're clinging on to hope that we're going to win a trophy. And it's
the manager has to.
So Scott, what's your thoughts on Beale then? Because I'm just looking at the group chat as well.
And a lot I would say as well, you know, obviously I don't see the guy. I don't know what the guy looks like, whatever. I can't take any impressions of, you know, his facial expressions or his body thing or all that stuff, what other people do talk about. But what I do find out, Ricky, is is he talks far too much.
Derek says that all the time.
Derek has given too much away. Walter
was very shrewd.
It was one word answers. Yeah. And then when obviously I met Walter back in the day and remember what he looks like, all the rest of it. It was a stare. And he'd get 1-2 word answers, that'd be it. And that's how you were getting. Whereas Beale, he can go into paragraphs and, you know, as if he's reading a book. That's, to me, that's too open. It's far too open, and it's to me, it's a very much a weakness because it just shows their last. What game was it? I heard them the last asking him PSV, and she said, "Is this going to be your biggest game?" He says, "I've only been a manager for a year." Oh my God! And he starts getting on like that, and you're saying, "Look, this is you opening up to weakness here, Derek." You know what I mean? And just keep your mouth shut, son. Blether and Beale to call him. But I said, just hold your face. Just get a 1-word answer, 2-word. That's at the max. Just move on. Take another question.
And normally that's what you get for experienced managers.
Yes.
Managers that have been early course, and that's a real worry at the moment because he hasn't been early course. What is he? 21 games or 22 games doing at Queen's Park Rangers or whatever. But no doubting that he knows the game. Right inside out, he's a fantastic coach, but managing's totally different. And managing is dealing with the media.
Yeah,
Scott's saying, and sometimes you've just got to zip it.
Absolutely, Derek.
I'm afraid that's end of the podcast already. That was quick, wasn't it?
It was great to hear Scott.
It's brilliant.
And it's like the rest of them out there. There's a real frustration at the minute, isn't there? And an anger as well. And I honestly think quite rightly so.
I think they've got the most loyal fans in the world, personally, you know, and they deserve so much better. The amount of money and everything the fans put in, they deserve so much better. But, you know, we just need to keep believing them and keep on going.
And this is the thing. We hope it turns. We hope he gets it right. You know, and I hope he's touching base with some of the managers that he's maybe worked with, Scott, throughout his career. That's what he should be doing. He should be on the phone to these guys and picking their brains.
But would you not say, Derek, sadly, no, obviously Walter's not with us, and Walter obviously helped out, you know, like, say, Warburton and MBLC he was there. Just one will have a cup of coffee and we'll go through this, Coist and all the rest of it. Is there MD he would turn to? Or is he too big-headed? Or is he the same thing?
Well, that's it. It seems like because he's took on the recruitment himself, he says, I don't need help in that side. I'll deal with all this. I think he can take on too much, and that's how I'm saying your mind becomes cloudy, muddy, and he's no thinking clearly.
Do you know,
and that's how you need to lean on people. Souness was the one that came up. They spoke about Souness. There was they had talks, and for whatever reason, Graham didn't fancy it. See, guys like Souness, he should be in there, and he should be, you know, sitting with him with a cup of tea, cup of coffee, you know, picking his brains. And
from what I heard about Souness was actually wanting a lot more like involvement than he was actually offered. I think he was only offered like an ambassador, whereas he was wanting right in there. So,
well, it's I think it's a mistake because I've said this often enough, maybe no on this podcast, but you see guys that have been there, done it with the experience, you tap into that big time.
Right. We could talk all night, but unfortunately we need to go home. But thanks again, Scott, for coming in.
Quick one. A very good mate, a good supporter of SSAFA, a very good blue nose. Carson is watching down in Melbourne. A member of
I've met
Melbourne
Carson
City.
before, aye.
You did indeed. Melbourne City Rangers Supporters Club. He's watching now, so have a good one, Carson. Also a very good friend of us both, Gary Jimison.
Yeah.
Absolute legend. Gary's coming in to do one of the pods as well. Gary's having a bit of issues at the minute with his health and his legs. So, Gary, get well soon, mucker. He is simply the best, believe me.
Get well, Gary.
I hope to see you in the quiz night, Gary, and we'll get a few pints for you. All right, but once again, thank you to all our sponsors, and thank you once again to the guys and to Scott. To our sponsors, DB Dental Care, Park Construction and Plant Hire, Plugged In Business Solutions, Lounge 72 and SSAFA. And SSAFA is the Soldiers, Sailors and Airmen's Families Association, and you can get them all on our website, which is allaboutthegers.co.uk. But we'll be back next Monday at 7:30. Take care.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.